What's the most bizarre thing you've seen in someone else's home? I will never understand the urge to fully carpet a bathroom. When I was a volunteer firefighter, we responded to a fully involved house fire one afternoon when the owner was at work, and after forcing entry and starting suppression, we went to the basement to cut gas and power, and we found a shrine of Nazi memorabilia and a steel bar prisoner's soldat. Used to work for a cable company, watched bedbugs crawl out of a woman's hair. A taxidermy cougar in the corner of my uncle's best friend's lounge room wearing a sombrero and aviator glasses. That Redditor with the porn corner full of sculpted erotica has to be high on the list. Back in my EMS days, walking past a pile of newspapers in the driveway and noticing thousands of flies in the window were clues that we were about to see something terrible after gaining access to the house. Horse just standing in one locked room alive, I mean. Last Supper with him in it instead of Jesus over the TV. My old friend's dad had a life-size armor set of Boba Fett in his gaming room, real metal and everything. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and seeing that in my childhood was amazing. My uncle also works at Disney and has a full custom armor set of a stormtrooper and blaster, and I got to wear it. It was so cool. A poop ladle. I wish I was joking. Their septic tank wasn't the best, and to put less stress on it, they scooped their solid poops out of the toilet, put it into a plastic bag, and took it to the outside bin. Toilet paper also went into the trash can, and pee was only to be flushed after it had been peed in multiple times. I learned this after asking why there was a takeout soup container next to the toilet with a ladle inside. A boar's head. It was stuffed and hanging in the hall. Someone stuffed a cigar into its mouth and put a Boston Bruins hat on its head. It was my house as a kid. The boar came from a museum. They were tossing it out. When I was house shopping, I saw some interesting stuff. One house had what felt like a maze in the basement, like a labyrinth of tiny rooms. In one of the rooms was an old school phone booth with a working phone. It looked more like the room had been built around the phone booth than the other way around. I ended up buying a different house down the street, and that home has since sold and been remodeled. I still wonder sometimes what they did with that weird-ass basement. A toilet in the lounge with a potted plant growing in it. I made friends with a kid in 8th grade. We hung out a bunch, but it was a year before I was ever invited into his house. Their basement had a dog shit corner. They had 2 large breed dogs that would just shit in the basement by design, and they would scoop the shit and toss it into the corner with a snow shovel. This kid slept in that basement. Massive dildo with some funky oscillating action just sitting on the arm of the couch. I pointed it out and said it was impressive, and they turned it on to show the way it wiggled. Oh, the most bizarre thing I've seen in someone else's home has to be a life-size taxidermy of a mythical creature. It was this mix of a unicorn and a dragon, definitely an unexpected and unique choice of decor. It sparked quite the conversation during my visit. Jimmy and Tammy Faye Backer's home in Charlotte was for sale in the early 2000s. We looked at it. The massive, mirrored master bedroom was beyond bizarre. The room featured a large jacuzzi tub on a raised platform, also surrounded by mirrors. Outside was a full-size pool, but it was only about 18 inches deep. Did home staging for a min, and there was this one house in a really nice area we had to stage. There was bright green carpet wall-to-wall in the finished basement level. Even in the bathroom, we were trying to figure out a way to minimize the impact of potential buyers seeing wall-to-wall Kelly green carpet. But the owners, who were an older, retired couple, kept bragging about it like it was a selling point. It's brand new. There was also nude women and nude men statues all over the property that were not Roman or Greek copies. They were clearly made by the people selling the house. We asked if they could be removed for the viewings, and again, very proud, these are our original artwork. I posed for my wife and she posed for me. Aren't they lovely? Ugh. Bank vault door. Except it was on the outside of his house attached to his garage shop. It was massive. My husband and I had driven like 3 hours to buy some fancy pheasants from the guy. Seemed like a normal farmhouse otherwise. He also had a huge pond in his backyard with turtles and carp that he was absolutely delighted to show off by throwing feed pellets in the pond, and the fish and turtles frenzied. It was a fun afternoon. Girl on a leash. She was very nice. Excellent cook. Apparently they met in university. Smart as a whip. She also kept sniffing me.